sexual element there of where they want somebody. Okay, if you gaze at somebody, this one is love, so I'm going to put a heart here. Gazing at someone or gazing at something is with love and fascination. You can gaze at the stars. I have a telescope right here, and you gaze at the stars and they're beautiful, and so you gaze at them with fascination. But you can gaze at your beloved. You can gaze at the person whom you love. Okay? If you glare at somebody, this is angry, or stare at somebody. These two are angry phrasal verbs, yeah? They're very angry. Glare at someone, stare at someone. I'm not entirely convinced these are phrasal verbs, actually, but they're still in the book, because it's verb and preposition, so it's very similar. Yeah, glare at someone, stare at someone, there's anger there, there's hatred. If you peer at something, it means you examine something very closely. So you can certainly peer at something through the telescope, peer through the telescope, or peer at something through the telescope. But you could also peer at an insect through a microscope, something like that. So peer, it means look very carefully. You could also peer at someone through the curtains, but you're looking carefully at them. So there's a careful element with peer. Glance is very quick. Yeah, if I glance at the camera and glance away. Glance at the camera, glance away. Nice and simple, it's just a quick look. And the last one, and this is the time to start putting up your questions, because I won't be able to read them otherwise. If you peek at something, there's something clandestine going on here. You might remember that I've done a lot of clandestine phrasal verbs, and this one's clandestine. Usually you peek at the answers in a test, and you're not allowed to peek at the answers, but you peek at the answers, yeah? You might have a book in front of you that you're doing an exercise on, and you're not allowed to look at the answers, but you peek at the answers because you want to find out if, well, you want to get full marks, something like that. Okay, now is the time to put up some questions, guys. So if anyone has any questions about the book, please put up some questions, or about anything else. I'll do my best, but if you have any questions about this book, now is your time to ask the questions. Silence immediately whenever I say it. It's so amusing. But please, if you have questions, now is your time. It's your last chance. And I'll be on holiday for at least a week, so there'll be no lessons for the next week, certainly not. But this book will be available. Okay. It is working properly at the moment, and I even helped a guy fix, or I paid a guy to fix it recently. The paper version will be coming soon. I'll break it up into parts and make it into a paper version. So Masterbot, if you're really not able to use the website to buy the book, get in touch with me on Facebook or VK, and if you send me your email, I will send you a bill, and if you pay the bill, you will get the book and free ebooks. So if you can't use the website, but I've tried using it and it works, and it's already sold 10 copies, so it's definitely working for some people. And I know from the look of the names that they live in various countries. They're not all from the same country. Some people are Italian, some people are Spaniards, I'm guessing from the names. And some people, I think one's a Hungarian, I think. And so lots of people in lots of different countries have already bought this book from my website. So I know it's working. But maybe it's not working for you. If that's the case, get in touch with me on Facebook. I'm there. And vk.com, I'm there. Or even on YouTube, I can reply. And I will make sure that your email gets a bill from PayPal. You don't need a PayPal account. You just need a bank card. And I think most of us have a bank card. Okay, yeah, good point. This is what it looks like on one page. Notice the number of pictures. There are a lot of pictures in order to draw out the subtle nuances of these phrasal verbs. There are a lot of pages. There's 350 pages of exercises and pictures, and then 100 pages of answers. And in the ebook, you have these lovely hyperlinks that Yuri put in. Thanks very much, Yuri. These lovely hyperlinks where you just go immediately to the answer. And then in the answer section, you've got a hyperlink that will take you back to the page where you were on, the page on which you were. So it is very nice. Thanks very much for that. I appreciate the compliment there, Rakesh. I really appreciate it. It impressed me as well when I saw it. It looks very nice. I mean, the paper quality and things like that, it's really nice. So this is what you're looking at on different pages, something like that. There are discussion questions, exercises, pictures, The exercises come in two sorts. You've got just ordinary sentences where you're putting in the verbs before the prepositions or the prepositions after the verbs. And there are little mini stories that I have written, micro texts I call them, with missing spaces. Now in the first half of the book, the prepositions are missing. In the second half of the book, the verbs are missing. So it tests both sides of phrasal verbs, it really does. It's not available on Amazon, and there's very good reason. Amazon take a large percentage of the price, and I don't like that, when I can put it on my own website and take 100% of the price of the book that I wrote. So there's a good reason why I haven't put it on Amazon yet. You certainly can buy a signed copy, and I will split it up. All the people asking about physical books, I also like physical books, I do understand. So I will split it up into different sections, or try to make it smaller in some kind of way, although I don't think that will be easier. I think it's easier to split it up into 3 or 4 parts. And I'll split it up into 3 or 4 parts, and you can buy it in different parts. But each part, it will still be quite expensive for each part. My advice is buy the ebook personally. But yeah, I agree, Amazon sucks. I don't really want to use Amazon at all. I found out that if you charge more than £10 on Amazon, they take 70%, not just 30%. That's very kind of them, isn't it? Just seems like they do want a lot. Can use in different parts of speech. Not sure what that means. Okay, so thanks everybody for watching. Please buy it. That's why I've made this video. I wrote it in order to sell it to everybody. £20 is the cost. It's on the website, but you don't just get this book. If you pay £20, you get this book and 3 other books that I've written for TV shows, for Line of Duty, Mindhunter, and House of Cards. In fact, I can show you right now that I do have another book here. There is another book here. If people want a cheap book, here's another book. English Lessons for Line of Duty. Now this is a lot thinner than this big beast, but this is what I wrote for Line of Duty, and I didn't even bother selling this. I wrote this for my students, and I'm giving this away as a PDF for free with this. This has got English lessons for the first 2 seasons of Line of Duty, and so it's a bit more boring, it's just exercises, but it's got answers as well, and yeah, that's more like grammar and vocab, but there are plenty of phrasal verbs in Line of Duty, so this isn't the only book that I've got with phrasal verbs. Now I hope that throwing it around in front of you all has all given you a taste for the book. So I'm not sure what that means, sorry. If you have any more questions about this book, please put them under the video. I will answer them, of course. If you're having trouble buying it for any reason at all, just write underneath one of the videos, preferably this one or a new video where I'm going to be checking it or where it's relevant. There are so many phrasal verbs, I agree, there are so many, that's why I decided to write this book. There are many that I haven't included in this book. I wrote this with a student who was just on a second ago, called Otto, or Wagner Otto. He's down in Sao Paulo, and I wrote it from our lessons really, because he really loves phrasal verbs, and so we go through phrasal verbs each and every class, and I made a list of them and I tried to bring them all together in this book, but I didn't get all of them. Unfortunately, there are still loads on the feedback from his lessons that I'm going to put in the second book, but I can't make it any bigger, it's too expensive as a physical version. So it took me about 4 months, 5 months I think to complete the book. It took about 3 months to write, and it took the rest of the time to get it all into a decent version. Yeah, I will be writing another book, providing that people keep buying this book. If people keep buying this book, I'll write a second book, of course, and it will probably also be on phrasal verbs, but I do want to do some classes on grammar as well. I'd quite like to show people how to identify parts of speech, because I can see that a lot of people find that quite challenging. I know a lot of you out there don't as well. It depends on how much experience you have with language. Okay, so thanks everybody. There it is. You can see it. It's big, it's chunky, it's expensive as a physical version, but as the electronic version, I hope you can see that £20 for this and 3 ebooks is not a bad price. And remember that I have spent money to produce this. It's all come out of my own funds. For example, getting somebody to do the layout, getting somebody to do those lovely hyperlinks that take you straight through to the answers, buying the images as well. I have to buy those images from Shutterstock. And so I have spent some money on this. This is why I'd like some money back. It's certainly not for free. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I hope that was interesting for all of you. I hope you all immediately go to skype-lessons.com, click on visual phrasal verbs, and buy yourself a copy. These phrasal verbs are in Britain and America. They're in all the films. They are English language. And you know, always remember that phrasal verbs are often taught like it's something advanced. Believe me that children in England learn phrasal verbs as the first words that they learn. They don't learn them as the advanced words. They learn them as the first words. So even a song like Incy Wincy Spider has loads of phrasal verbs. Yeah, he climbed up the spout, rain came down, or down came. That's an inverted phrasal verb. There are loads of them, all in the lullabies and things like that. English and American kids, they learn phrasal verbs first. So you need to learn them as well. Get this book. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I'm going to have to go and get packed now for my holiday, so I better go. But thanks.